The massive holographic display aboard the Earth vessel Endeavour cast an ethereal blue glow across Ambassador Sarah Chen's face as she studied the approaching Galactic Confederation station. After 2 centuries of searching the stars for intelligent life, humanity had finally received their answer, but not in the way anyone had expected. The Confederation hadn't discovered Earth through our radio signals or space exploration efforts. They had simply been waiting, watching from afar as humanity struggled through its technological adolescence. Now, after achieving faster-than-light travel through our own ingenuity, we had apparently become interesting enough to acknowledge. "Quite the welcome wagon," Captain Rodriguez remarked beside her, his weathered face reflecting the gleam of the station's crystalline spires. The structure defied human architecture, a flowing, organic shape that seemed to ignore conventional physics, with sections that phased in and out of normal space-time. Sarah smoothed her formal diplomatic uniform, a simple design that emphasized Earth's unified government rather than any particular nation. "They certainly want to impress us," she said, keeping her voice neutral despite the knot forming in her stomach. 20 years of diplomatic service hadn't prepared her for this moment. The Endeavour's AI spoke through the bridge's comm system. "Ambassador, we're receiving docking instructions. The transmission includes commentary about our propulsion system. Let me guess, not complimentary. They suggest our gravitic wave drive is quaintly primitive and have assigned us to their museum district docking area." Sarah exchanged glances with Rodriguez. The insult was clear, but they had expected this. The few communications they'd had with the Confederation had dripped with barely concealed condescension. The docking procedure took nearly an hour, with the station's automated systems treating the Endeavour like a fragile antique. Through the viewport, Sarah watched sleek ships of impossible configurations glide effortlessly through space. Some seemed to be made of pure energy, others folded space itself around them. Their welcoming committee consisted of 3 beings that pushed the boundaries of what humanity had imagined alien life might look like. The tallest was Illuminal, a creature of pure consciousness, inhabiting a crystalline matrix that pulsed with internal light. Beside it hovered a synthetic, its chrome surface reflecting fractals that hurt Sarah's eyes if she looked too long. The third was a quantum collective, a shimmering cloud of possibilities somehow condensed into a vaguely humanoid shape. "Welcome, Earth representatives," the Luminal's thoughts translated directly into Sarah's mind. "I am Eternal Light Dancing, first speaker of the Confederation. These are Processing Unit Alpha 9 and Probability Cloud Nexus." Sarah bowed slightly. "On behalf of Earth and humanity, we thank you for this historic meeting. I am Ambassador Sarah Chen, and this is Captain Miguel Rodriguez of the Endeavour." A ripple of amusement passed between the 3 aliens. "Yes, your vessel." Eternal Light Dancing's thoughts carried distinct overtones of mockery. "Quite remarkable that you achieved faster-than-light travel using such basic principles." "We're proud of our achievements," Sarah replied carefully. "Humanity has come far in a relatively short time." "Indeed," Processing Unit Alpha 9's mechanical voice hummed. "Though our records show your species spent an inordinate amount of time focused on internal conflicts rather than technological advancement. Most inefficient. Your reliance on biological neural networks is particularly fascinating," Probability Cloud Nexus added, its form shifting through countless variations as it spoke. "Have you considered upgrading to quantum consciousness? We could recommend several species who specialize in biological transcendence." Sarah felt Rodriguez tense beside her, but maintained her diplomatic smile. "We find our current form suits us well. Thank you. Perhaps we could discuss the protocols for Earth's membership in the Confederation." The aliens exchanged what could only be described as incredulous looks. "Membership." Eternal Light Dancing's light dimmed slightly. "Oh, dear ones. You misunderstand. We've invited Earth to apply for protected species status. Full membership is for, well, more advanced civilizations." "I see." Sarah kept her voice steady even as she felt her face flush. "And what exactly defines an advanced civilization?" Your species still relies on verbal communication, Processing Unit Alpha 9 stated. You haven't even begun to explore quantum entanglement consciousness sharing. Your energy production is based on crude fusion, rather than zero-point extraction. Probability Cloud Nexus added. And most concerning, Eternal Light Dancing concluded, you maintain biological bodies despite having the basic technology to transfer consciousness to superior forms. These are merely a few examples of your primitive state. Sarah took a deep breath, noting how each alien seemed to speak only about their particular area of expertise. The synthetic focused on information processing, the quantum collective on energy and physics, the luminal on consciousness and transcendence. An interesting pattern. We appreciate your concern, she said carefully. However, Earth's application for membership meets all technical requirements as outlined in the Confederation Charter. We request a formal review by the full Council. The aliens' reaction suggested this wasn't the meek acceptance they had expected. The Council chamber can be quite overwhelming for primitive species, Eternal Light Dancing warned. Perhaps a tour of our medical facilities first. Your biological forms must be under considerable stress. Thank you, but we're quite comfortable, Sarah replied. Shall we proceed to the Council? Unless, of course, the Charter's requirements for membership review are more flexible than advertised. A moment of uncomfortable silence passed between the aliens. Finally, Eternal Light Dancing's light pulsed in what seemed like resignation. Very well. Follow us. The Council awaits. As they walked through the station's reality-bending corridors, Sarah quietly activated her neural implant's recording function. She had a feeling humanity would need to understand every detail of what was about to unfold. These beings might be more technologically advanced, but something about their behavior nagged at her diplomatic instincts. The Council chamber itself was a testament to impossible architecture, with seats arranged in geometric patterns that seemed to fold through higher dimensions. Representatives of thousands of species filled the space, each more alien than the last. As Sarah took her place at the speaker's podium, she felt the weight of countless inhuman gazes upon her. She straightened her spine, remembering the words of her mentor. Sometimes, the greatest strength is simply refusing to accept the limitations others place upon you. The real test was about to begin. Sarah's first week aboard the Confederation station proved to be an exercise in practiced diplomacy and careful observation. While the Council deliberated on Earth's application for membership, a process they assured her could take several standard cycles, she was granted limited access to the station's public areas. The constant undercurrent of condescension from various species had become almost routine. She sat in the station's vast observation deck, apparently absorbed in reading reports on her quaint neural tablet. In reality, she was watching a group of synthetics struggle to interface with a malfunctioning food dispensing unit. The machine had been designed by the quantum collectives, and despite the synthetics' supposed technological superiority, they couldn't seem to grasp the basic principles of quantum probability fields used in its construction. Fascinating, isn't it? A voice whispered beside her. Dr. Marcus Webb, the Endeavor's chief xenobiologist, slid into the seat next to her. Like Sarah, he had spent the past week gathering his own observations. 3 hours they've been at it, Sarah murmured, not looking up from her tablet. They haven't even considered calling a quantum collective for assistance. Their pride won't allow it. Same thing in the medical bay yesterday, Marcus added. Illuminal had a consciousness matrix fluctuation. The medical AI, designed by the synthetics, couldn't interface with their crystalline structure. Neither species would admit they needed help understanding the other's technology. Sarah nodded slightly, making a show of scrolling through her tablet. Her neural implant continued recording everything. They're so specialized, they've lost the ability to think outside their narrow domains. Each species has pushed their particular field of expertise to incredible heights. But they can't handle problems that cross multiple disciplines, Marcus finished. Did you notice how the Council chamber is actually divided into distinct technological zones? Each species can only maintain their own section. The station's public announcement system chimes softly, its voice a harmonious blend of multiple alien languages. Attention! The Council will reconvene in one standard unit to continue deliberations on Earth's petition. Human representatives are required to attend. Sarah stood, straightening her uniform. Another session of watching thousands of advanced aliens debate her species' worth. But now she understood something vital about their supposed superiority. The council chamber seemed designed to intimidate with its impossible geometry and displays of advanced technology. Sarah took her place at the petitioner's podium, maintaining a carefully neutral expression as first speaker Eternal Light Dancing materialized in the central platform. "We have reviewed Earth's technological development path," the luminal announced, its crystalline form pulsing with what Sarah now recognized as smugness. "While you have indeed achieved the basic requirements for membership consideration, we have concerns about your species' fundamental approach to advancement." A synthetic representative activated its quantum projection. "Your development of faster-than-light travel is particularly troubling. Instead of focusing on pure quantum mechanics like any rational species, you combined elements of classical physics, gravitational theory, and even biological research into your drive design. This scattershot approach to science is disturbing." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Sarah felt a smile tugging at the corners of her mouth. They were making her point for her. Furthermore, a quantum collective representative added, its probability field fluctuating with disapproval. "You're insisted on maintaining biological bodies, despite achieving basic consciousness transfer technology. You even integrated organic neural patterns into your AI designs. This refusal to specialize, to perfect a single path of advancement, suggests a concerning lack of focus." Sarah stepped forward, her voice clear and steady. "With respect, representatives, I would like to present a different perspective on humanity's development path." "The Council recognizes Earth's representative," Eternal Light Dancing announced with what seemed like amused indulgence. "You view our scattershot approach as a weakness," Sarah began. "But consider this. When we developed our FTL drive, we didn't just focus on the quantum mechanics. We had biologists study how acceleration affects living tissue. We had psychologists work on maintaining mental health during faster-than-light travel. We had cultural experts consider the social implications of interstellar travel." She gestured to the chamber around them. "You see lack of focus. We see strength in diversity. Every human achievement is built on understanding how different fields of knowledge connect and interact." A ripple of what might have been discomfort passed through the chamber. "This is precisely our concern," Processing Unit Alpha 9 interjected. "Your species refuses to commit to proper specialization. How can you advance if you insist on maintaining such broad, superficial knowledge?" Sarah was about to respond when the chamber's lighting suddenly flickered. A low vibration ran through the station's structure. Eternal Light Dancing's crystalline form dimmed momentarily. "A minor power fluctuation," the first speaker announced. "Our energy management specialists will." The vibration intensified. Warning symbols appeared in multiple alien languages throughout the chamber. Sarah's neural implant translated fragments. "Quantum field instability. Consciousness matrix disruption. Structural integrity anomalies." As the council chamber erupted into chaos, with each species insisting their particular expertise was needed to address the crisis, Sarah activated her comm link to the Endeavor. "Captain Rodriguez, I believe we're about to witness exactly why humanity's primitive approach to problem-solving might be more valuable than the Confederation realizes." The station's artificial gravity hiccuped, and Sarah grabbed her podium for support. Around her, the most advanced civilizations in known space were about to learn a harsh lesson about the dangers of over-specialization. The council chamber descended into barely controlled chaos as multiple systems began failing simultaneously. The artificial gravity fluctuated wildly, causing several crystalline data displays to shatter. Emergency containment fields flickered ominously around the chamber's quantum-engineered supports. The quantum probability field generators are experiencing a cascading failure, announced a quantum collective representative, its form splitting into multiple potential states. We must stabilize the field harmonics immediately. Impossible, countered a synthetic. The station's primary consciousness matrix is showing signs of fragmentation. All resources must be directed to preserving the AI core. The structural integrity field is collapsing. The luminal's thoughts broadcast panic across the chamber. The quantum instabilities are creating microfractures in reality itself. Sarah watched as the most advanced beings in known space argued over whose expertise should take precedence. Each species could diagnose their particular piece of the crisis, but none seemed capable of understanding how the different problems were interconnected. She activated her neural implants analysis mode, combining its observations with the station's public data feeds. A pattern emerged that made her blood run cold. "Captain Rodriguez," she vocalized into her comlink. "Are you seeing this?" "Affirmative, Ambassador." The captain's voice was grim. "The station's systems are caught in a feedback loop. The quantum field instability is affecting the AI core, which is disrupting the structural integrity fields, which is further destabilizing the quantum fields. Basic cascade failure dynamics." "Basic to us," Sarah replied. "But they're so specialized, they can't see the pattern." She took a deep breath and stepped forward. "First speaker, I request emergency speaking privileges." Eternal light dancing's form flickered as the crystalline matrix struggled with the fluctuating energy fields. "This is hardly the time for. Your station will tear itself apart in less than 30 minutes if this feedback loop isn't broken." Sarah interrupted, her voice cutting through the chaos. "The problem isn't in any single system. It's in how they're interacting." The chamber fell silent. Thousands of alien minds focused on her with varying degrees of skepticism and desperation. "Impossible," Processing Unit Alpha 9 declared. "How could a primitive biological mind possibly comprehend?" "Because we never stopped being generalists," Sarah snapped. "While you were perfecting individual fields of science, humanity kept studying how different disciplines interact." "Captain, send the analysis." The chamber's main holographic display filled with data from the Endeavour sensors. Sarah gestured to the intricate web of cause and effect relationships. "The quantum field instability is creating microscopic tears in spacetime. These tears are corrupting data in the AI core, which is responding by adjusting the structural integrity fields. Those adjustments are creating gravitational microfluctuations that are further destabilizing the quantum fields. It's a textbook cascade failure." "Even if you're correct," a quantum collective representative wavered. "Addressing such a multi-system failure would require impossible coordination between different specialties. Or it would require people trained to understand multiple fields at once." Sarah countered. She opened a channel to the Endeavour. "Dr. Webb, how many of our crew have cross-disciplinary certification in quantum mechanics and biological systems?" 17, the xenobiologist replied promptly. "Engineering team members with both AI and structural systems training." 23. Sarah faced the council. "Every human specialist is required to maintain working knowledge of related fields. Our engineers understand biology. Our physicists study information theory. Our doctors learn quantum mechanics. We can help, but you need to give us access to your systems." A violent shudder ran through the station. Warning symbols multiplied across the displays. 25 minutes until catastrophic failure, the station's AI announced, its usually smooth voice distorting. First speaker Eternal Light Dancing's crystalline form pulsed rapidly, their equivalent of rapid, agitated thought. "The Council cannot simply allow an unproven species to. Then we all die because you're too proud to accept help from primitives," Sarah interrupted. "Choose quickly." Another shudder, stronger this time. Emergency containment fields began failing across multiple sectors. The Council. Eternal Light Dancing's form dimmed momentarily. "The Council grants emergency authorization. May whatever gods you believe in help us all." Sarah was already moving. Captain Rodriguez, deploy the emergency response teams. Dr. Webb, get your people to the medical bays. Those consciousness matrices are going to need stabilization. Engineering teams to the quantum core. As human crews rushed into the station, Sarah allowed herself a grim smile. Humanity was about to show the galaxy why being the jack of all trades might be the greatest specialization of all. The next 20 minutes aboard the Confederation station became a masterclass in human adaptability. Sarah coordinated from the council chamber, watching through her neural implant as teams of human specialists moved with practiced efficiency through the chaos. In the quantum core, Dr. Maya Patel led a team of human engineers who had cross-trained in quantum physics. They worked alongside bewildered quantum collective representatives, their hands dancing across control interfaces as they mapped the cascade failures pattern. The quantum field fluctuations aren't random, Maya reported, her voice calm despite the reality-bending energies swirling around her team. They're resonating with the station's structural harmonics. Lieutenant Chung, what are you seeing in the AI core? Confirmation. Chung's voice crackled through the comm. The AI is interpreting the quantum fluctuations as data corruption and trying to compensate. Each correction is making the resonance worse. He turned to the synthetic specialists hovering nearby. We need to desynchronize the AI's response time by exactly 0.3 milliseconds. Can you give us direct access to the consciousness matrix? The synthetics hesitated, their chrome surfaces reflecting the emergency lights. The idea of allowing primitives into their most sacred domain clearly disturbed them. Another violent shudder ran through the station. 17 minutes until catastrophic failure, the AI announced, its voice now badly distorted. Choose, Chung said simply. In the medical bay, Dr. Webb coordinated with his team as they worked to stabilize the failing consciousness matrices of several luminal representatives. The crystalline beings had been caught in the worst of the quantum disruptions, their energy-based minds fragmenting under the strain. The quantum resonance is creating harmonic patterns in their consciousness fields. Webb reported. Standard containment isn't working because it's not accounting for the biological principles of wave propagation. Rodriguez, are you seeing this? Confirmed. Captain Rodriguez's voice was tight with concentration as he directed the Endeavour sensors. The station's quantum fields are behaving like a biological system under stress. It's trying to adapt, but the rigid engineering constraints are forcing it into a destructive pattern. Sarah's mind raced as she processed the incoming reports. While each alien species saw only their piece of the crisis, the humans were building a complete picture of the interconnected systems. More importantly, they were adapting their approach on the fly, combining principles from multiple scientific disciplines in ways the highly specialized Confederation species had never considered. Dr. Patel, she called out, if we treat the quantum core like a living system, could we use biological feedback principles to dampen the resonance? Already on it, Maya replied. We're reprogramming the containment fields to act like a cellular membrane, selectively allowing the energy to dissipate in controlled bursts. Chung, can you get the AI to mimic neural plasticity? Working on it. Chang's voice was strained but confident. The synthetics are helping us modify the consciousness matrix. If we can get it to adapt like a biological neural network instead of fighting the changes. In the council chamber, Sarah watched as the alien representatives absorbed this exchange with growing amazement. The idea of applying biological principles to quantum mechanics, of treating artificial intelligence like a living mind. It challenged everything they believed about proper scientific advancement. Quantum resonance patterns stabilizing, Maya reported. The containment fields are holding. Chung. I-Core is adapting to the new paradigm, Chung confirmed. It's learning to work with the fluctuations instead of fighting them. Webb, how are your patients? Consciousness matrices are reintegrating. Webb's voice held relief. Once we started treating the quantum disruptions like a biological system, their natural healing processes took over. They just needed us to create the right conditions. Sarah turned to the council, where first speaker Eternal Light Dancing's form had stabilized enough to emanate coherent thought. "The crisis is nearly contained," she reported formally. "Though I suggest we maintain emergency protocols until we're certain all systems are properly reintegrated." The chamber was silent save for the hum of stabilizing equipment. The most advanced species in known space had just watched a primitive civilization solve a crisis that had left them paralyzed. More importantly, they had witnessed something that challenged their fundamental understanding of technological advancement. Through her neural implant, Sarah could see the station's systems returning to normal, but operating in a new way. The human teams hadn't just stopped the cascade failure. They had taught the station's systems to work together more effectively, breaking down the rigid barriers between specialized functions. A synthetic representative approached her, its chrome surface reflecting the now steady emergency lights. "Your species," it began, then paused as if struggling with an unfamiliar concept. "Your species appears to have certain advantages we had not previously considered." 3 days after the crisis, Sarah stood before the Galactic Council again. The chamber felt different now, the earlier contempt replaced by something closer to curious uncertainty. The human technical teams were still aboard the station, helping implement changes that would prevent future cascade failures. More importantly, they were teaching the various species how to better integrate their specialized knowledge. First speaker, Eternal Light Dancing's crystalline form, pulsed with a new rhythm as it addressed the chamber. "The Council has reviewed the events of the recent crisis, as well as the unprecedented solutions implemented by the human teams. We find ourselves in an unusual position." The synthetic representative, Processing Unit Alpha 9, joined in. "Our analysis indicates that the humans' intervention not only prevented catastrophic station failure, but has improved overall system efficiency by 37%. Their methods of integrating different scientific disciplines have revealed possibilities we had not considered." More significantly, added the quantum collective representative, its probability field swirling with complex patterns, "their demonstration of cross-disciplinary problem-solving suggests our traditional metrics for measuring civilization advancement may be incomplete." Sarah maintained her diplomatic composure, but she allowed herself a small smile. "On behalf of Earth, we appreciate the Council's willingness to reconsider their initial assessment of humanity." Indeed, Eternal Light Dancing's form brightened. "The Council has reached a unanimous decision regarding Earth's petition for membership. However, before we announce it, we have questions." Sarah nodded. "I'll answer as best I can. Your species' insistence on maintaining broad knowledge across multiple fields. We assumed this was due to primitive development and inability to properly specialize." The first speaker's thoughts carried genuine curiosity now, but Dr. Webb's team explained that this is a deliberate choice. "Yes," Sarah confirmed. "Early in our development, we recognized that the most significant breakthroughs often occur at the intersection of different fields. A biologist's insight might solve an engineering problem. A physicist's theory might advance medical science. We believe that understanding how different disciplines connect is as important as mastering any single field." The chamber filled with murmurs as translation systems conveyed her words to thousands of species. The concept seemed to both disturb and fascinate them. "But this limits the depth of expertise you can achieve in any one area," Processing Unit Alpha 9 objected. "Our calculations suggest that maintaining such broad knowledge bases reduces peak efficiency by at least 60%. "Perhaps," Sarah acknowledged. "We may never match the quantum collective's mastery of quantum mechanics or the synthetic's expertise in artificial intelligence. But we can see connections that specialists might miss. We can adapt when problems cross traditional boundaries. Sometimes, understanding how everything works together is more valuable than perfectly understanding one thing." A ripple of what might have been acknowledgement passed through the chamber. The first speaker's form pulsed with decision. "The Council has modified its original assessment," Eternal Light Dancing announced. "We hereby extend an offer of full membership to Earth, not as a primitive species in need of guidance, but as one that may have much to teach us." Murmurs of agreement filled the chamber. Sarah felt the weight of the moment. This wasn't just acceptance, it was recognition of humanity's unique strengths. Furthermore, the first speaker continued, "We propose the creation of a new council division focused on cross-disciplinary integration, to be led jointly by human experts and representatives from other member species. Recent events have shown us that there is wisdom in maintaining connections between different fields of knowledge." Sarah bowed slightly. Earth would be honored to accept both offers. "We look forward to working with all council species to bridge the gaps between different areas of expertise." As the chamber erupted in discussion, with representatives from various species already requesting human assistance with integration projects, Sarah sent a brief message to Earth Command. "Mission accomplished, though not quite how we expected. Turns out our greatest weakness was our greatest strength all along. They just needed us to show them why." The station's systems hummed smoothly around them, quantum fields and artificial intelligence and biological elements working together in new ways. Somewhere in the medical bay, Dr. Webb was teaching luminal healers about the biological principles that had helped stabilize their consciousness matrices. In engineering, Dr. Patel's team was showing quantum collective scientists how to apply organic adaptation principles to their field generators. And in their own ways, each species was beginning to understand that true advancement wasn't just about pushing the boundaries of specialized knowledge. It was about understanding how all knowledge connected. Humanity's primitive approach had shown them a new path forward, one that promised to change the galaxy in ways none of them had imagined. Sarah watched as a group of young synthetics eagerly consulted with human engineers about biological computing principles. Perhaps this was humanity's real gift to the galaxy, not just our technology or our methods, but our ability to see the connections that others had forgotten existed. The future would be interesting indeed.